A swing step is simply where you're standing and you're drawing backwards, this movement, and then stepping back in with your strike. Two common attacks that you have to deal with on street fighting, which are really pretty strict to street fighting themselves. One is the haymaker, where a guy steps back, loads his hip, and is throwing this big rear hand punch. The other one is the shove. And when somebody's doing that shove or that haymaker, I'm going to give you two techniques you can do that will help you counter this and finish a fight in 3 seconds or less. So the first common technique, and I'm going to demonstrate this on Dave, is somebody sitting here, you see that tension in them, their teeth may go or something, and they drop and step in and use that shove. And they may follow in to try to put you off balance and deliver heavy punches. The second common one is where the guy gets tense and you see him drop his foot back a little bit, see that little loading of the fist, and they throw from that backhand and drive through the chin, trying to go for that KO right away. So let's talk about a couple situations here. If I'm standing here, I could take either directive, but for right now, I'm going to go with the swing step, okay? The swing step is usually if I'm standing and they're inside of my lead foot. So you can see, you can't really see it, but if you're just staying there, if you just step forward, yeah, he's inside of my lead foot as opposed to me being outside of the lead foot. By doing so, I know that going this way in a negative pivot, which we call a swing step, it'll be my best advantage. Now, on this one, what I want to do is I'm not going to try to block. I'm going to put them off distance. I'm going to go take this slow motion. So I notice him step back and he's about to throw that haymaker. What I want to do is this is coming towards me. I'm going to swing to face the same direction, pushing off on his face. Likely that's enough for me to turn and get out of there. If he ends up turning back though, or else if I need to finish something, as he comes, I swing, I'm driving that face, and then I could drive him. So once again, if he's inside my feet, he's closer to this shoulder, if you might notice, I'm going to move the shoulder away. So he's coming for that haymaker, turn out, drive, boom, there we go. Now, a couple ways you can hit this, depending. One is coming quickly from your hip this way or going over top. I recommend for most situations to go over top because somebody might be becoming more of a wrestler and you get knock on their forearms. We want to change the direction of their vision and move them away from us. So again, he steps back and I'm going. See how you're going to get caught if you go from underneath? So I don't recommend you go underneath. Some people like to do it, but it might be a height difference thing. So if I'm shorter, that might be a better thing for me to do, okay? So as he comes again, I swing out. See how I'm turning here? I'm actually behind him. I could take off in this direction and be gone. Now, I can do a swing if I'm over to here and I'm standing. It's the same thing if I swing from this side. So if he throws that, I can also swing this way and drive. A swing step is simply where you're standing and you're drawing backwards, this movement, and then stepping back in with your strike. So I'm literally, as he comes in, the footwork is I'm moving back as I push. If I need to and he's really organizing himself, there's that drive right through that I can deliver. So the other option with this swing step again is you see him sort of drop and get that power going. Again, that's where this can work. Now you see how he drops? That's where the palm heel one, rather than the overhand, is going to be more applicable. I'm coming in, keep my elbows out and driving him away and taking off towards an angle that he's not directed at. So one more time, he goes to shove. Boom, driving that head if I need to. Shoves are good. Get yourself out. That's self-defense. Self-defense is not about me engaging you. And if you're going to do that, start training full-time because you're just not going to be able to do a 6-week self-defense program, or you're not going to get principles where you can actually go against somebody that's got even a bit of training in any style of fighting. They've learned how to deliver, how to absorb strikes. They've got a lot more tricks than you because you're not training enough. So if you're not trained, get a couple good things that work, okay? If you need to shove, cool. if you don't get out. Now, if I'm talking about getting away, as he comes in, okay, this shove right here, if I go from this, his weight's gone over here, and I do this sort of sumo squat or plie position out here, drop my weight off, I'm nice and gone really quick, okay? I'm going towards a direction away from him, somewhere there's safety, towards the crowd and so on. Okay, so it's boom. If I need to, there it is. Sure. If you are in a situation, even if I have some distance he's coming in, if I in general learn that swing step, get off the line, that's always going to be what I recommend as your go-to, because when he's coming in, whether I go here, I'm facing that same direction. So as soon as his delivery is going, he's offline in every way. That's the safest one. This one here now is when I see that tension's coming. So I see his hand go down and I already angled off. Now he's to the outside of my foot here. So if I was to step here, any part of his feet that are outside of my foot, I know that I can use this rear foot check hook, which is essentially, if he's bringing this in slow motion, me turning, okay? So it's here. If he's there, it's me turning and driving that. Now on this one, I really recommend the overhand palm. So what I'm talking about here is the angle that I'm going to deliver the strike to his neck. So when he comes in and I notice him stepping back, I do my forward pivot. As he's throwing, I'm moving around that lead leg. And what I want to hit is either the angle of the jaw to drive it down and do a nerve pinch, okay, which is like stingers, could become a knockout or so on, all right? But either way, one area is either here, or if he's going a little deeper, gain in behind the base of the skull, which is a really powerful shockwave knockout. And that one bounces the brain off the skull, puts the person out real quick. So again, the way that we use this best is if I'm angled in, even if he's got a flat stance, if I feel that tension, I could take a little step off the line. And if it's my rear foot taking the step off the line, I'm going to want to go with that forward pivot around him. As I'm doing that, that right hand, or my rear hand, as he's coming in at me, is stepping out and driving for the head. See, I could either catch the base of the skull at the occipital bone, or I could catch that angle of the jaw. Just depends the depth. He may be a couple of strides out coming at me, and I move and see that coming, boom, there you go. Then again, if I follow up with this one, it'll be rear hand followed by lead hand.